Namaskar. Welcome to the Atharva Forum. In this episode, I'm going to introduce two important Vṛtta-s or metrical patterns in the 11 syllable group Triṣṭubh. Before I proceed, I request you subscribe to Atharva Forum YouTube channel if you have not yet done. In the 11 syllable group, there are many Vṛtta-s like Indravajrā, Upendravajrā, Upajati, Śālinī, Rathodhata. But for our purpose, I will be taking only 2 meters, Indravajrā and Śālinī. Coming to Indravajrā, Indra's thunderbolt, Indravajrā, this meter, this metrical pattern, this Vṛtta, the arrangement of syllables here is such that it creates an intense environment. If a poet wants to give expression to intense devotion, intense heroism, this is one of the best metrical pattern to do. So in Indravajrā has 11 syllables, and in every line the first, second, fourth, fifth, 8th, 10th and 11th syllable are long and the rest of the syllables are short. Usually in the short meters, short metrical patterns, the harmonic pause or pada madhya yati is not strongly prescribed because one can simply recite 11 syllables in one breath. Yet, to make it more melodious, there are certain pause places which are prescribed. So in this 11 syllable Indravajrā Vṛtta, one can take a pause on the 5th syllable and again on the 11th syllable. So 5 by 6 is the pause pattern in Indravajrā. The traditional texts, they define Indravajrā like Syādindravajrā yadito jagoga. This is a technical definition which says that the Indravajrā is constituted of the letters belonging to Tagana, Tagana, Jagana and 2 long syllables, Ga and Ga. Syād Indravajrā yadi to, to means 2 Taganas, Ja 1 Jagana and Go, Ga. 1 Ga and 1 Ga. While illustrating the recitation pattern of Indravajrā, I will be taking off not one example, but 4 or 5 examples, or maybe 6 examples to illustrate the different ways of reciting the same verse. The beauty of Sanskrit meter is that if a verse is composed in a particular meter, that verse can be recited in many different ways. And the arrangement of syllables by short and long and the pause pattern, this facilitates the recitation or singing of the verse in a particular meter in various different ways. From Śrī Rāmarakṣā Stotra of a Buddha Kaushika, so I am taking up this verse as an example of Indravajrā. It's a very popular verse, prayer, which says Lokābhiramam Ranarangadhiram Rajivanetram Raghuvanshanatham Karunyarupam Karunakaram Tam Śrī Ramachandram Sharanam Prapatye. This is the reading of the verse, and let me recite it to illustrate how this verse in Indravajrā can be sung or recited melodiously. Lokabhiramam Ranarangadhiram Rajivanetram Raghuvanshanatham Karunyarupam Karunakaram Tam Śrī Ramachandram Sharanam Prapadye Śrī Ramachandram Sharanam Prapadye. So while reciting, one can repeat the last line once, twice. There is no hard and fast rule that how many times the last line one can repeat or any other line one can repeat. Depending upon the singing style, one can even repeat all the lines twice, thrice to make it more impactful, more melodious, and there is no such hard and fast rule that how many times it can be repeated, or all repetition can be avoided also, and the verse can be recited in a simple manner. Again, recite one more verse in Indravajrā from the Balamukundashtakam. Leela karagre dhruta parvatendram Indram Mahavrishtimadam Jayantam Gopi Bhujair Lalita Padapadmam Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. This is the verse, and now I am reciting it using the same pattern which I used for the previous verse. Leela karagre dhruta parvatendram Indram Mahavrishtimadam Jayantam Gopi Bhujairillalita Padapadmam Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. Balam Mukundam Manasa Smarami. So there is another verse which I would like to take up, which is from Devīmāhātmya, which reads like this: Tvam Vaishnavi Shaktirananta Virya Vishwasya Bijam Paramasimaya Sammohitam Devi Samastametat Tvam Vai Prasanna Bhuvi Muktihetu. I will recite it using a different pattern. Though the verse is in Indravajrā, so I illustrated one way of singing by giving two examples, and this example from Devīmāhātmya I'll illustrate using a different pattern. Tvam Vaishnavi Shaktirananta Virya Vishwasya Bijam Paramasimaya Sammohitam Devi Samastametat Tvam Vai Prasanna Bhuvi Muktihetu. Tvam Vai Prasanna Bhuvi Muktihetu. This is from Devīmāhātmya. Now I take up another example from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to illustrate the same pattern of singing. So the whole purpose of giving different examples and using the same pattern is that the choice of words, sometimes the choice of words in every verse is different. Though the arrangement of syllables remains same, yet the choice of words also makes a big difference while reciting. So this verse from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam reads like this: Satyavratam Satyaparam त्रिसत्यं सत्यस्य योनिं निहितं च सत्ये सत्यस्य सत्यामृतसत्यनेत्रं सत्यात्मकं त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना. I am using the same way of reciting as I did for the verse from Devīmāhātmya. Satyavrtam satyaparam trisatyam satyasya yonim nihitam cha satye satyasya satyamrita satyanetram satyatmakam tvam sharanam prapanna satyatmakam tvam sharanam prapanna. So in this manner, various examples, various verses composed in the same meter can be recited. One more example to illustrate another way of reciting. So this is from Kṛṣṇa-karṇāmṛtam of Leela Sukha. Chitram tadetat charanaravindam Chitram tadetan nayanaravindam Chitram tadetad vadanaravindam Chitram tadetad vapurasya chitram. The recitation can be slightly different. It may sound even slightly similar to what I did with the previous verses. But I will try to give a different way of reciting this. Chitram tadetat charanaravindam Chitram tadetan nayanaravindam Chitram tadetat vadanaravindam Chitram tadetat vapurasya chitram. So this is another way of reciting the Indravajrā meter. I have illustrated 5 examples from different sources, from Devīmāhātmya, from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, from Kṛṣṇa-karṇāmṛtam, from Balamukundashtakam. This is what is Indravajrā meter, which is an extremely powerful meter to give expression to intense devotion and intense heroism. So this is the sentiment which gets expressed through Indravajrā. So in the same Triṣṭubh group, the 11 syllable group, I would now like to take up another meter called Śālinī. This meter also has 11 syllables because it belongs to the Triṣṭubh group. So here, except the 6th and 9th syllables of each pada, all other syllables are long. So only the 6th and 9th syllables are short. And sometimes the pause pattern which is prescribed here for Śālinī is 4th and 4/7 is the pause pattern. It means that one can take a pause on the 4th syllable and then one can take a pause on the last syllable, on the 11th syllable. So this is what is the pause pattern. And when we go to the traditional definition of Śālinī, so it says Mattau Gauchet Śālinī Vedalokai. So it means like the Vṛtta-Śālinī is constituted of the syllables belonging to one ma group, one ta group, one ta group, and then with 2 long syllables at the end. So it means like one ma group and 2 ta groups and 2 long syllables. Ma, ta, ta, ga, ga. A maximum number of long syllables are there in Śālinī, and this is again another Vṛtta which expresses the devotion, which is also melodious, and the various examples that I will be giving from different sources like Sri Rāmarakṣā Stotra and from other texts to illustrate the various ways of reciting Śālinī. One will experience the melody in this meter and the beauty of this meter Śālinī. This example from Sri Rāmarakṣā Stotra of Buddha Kaushika. Mata Ramu Mat Pita Ramachandra Swami Ramu Mat Sakha Ramachandra Sarvaswam me Ramachandro Dayalur Nanyam Jane Naiva Jane Na Jane. It's a very beautiful verse with a beautiful meaning. And let me recite it using a pattern by giving a pause on the 4th syllable and then taking a pause on the 11th syllable. Mata Ramu Mat Pita Ramachandra Swami Ramu Mat Sakha Ramachandra Sarvaswam me Ramachandro Dayalur Nanyam Jane Naiva Jane Na Jane Nanyam Jane Naiva Jane Na Jane. Similarly, we have more verses from Śālinī, and this is a verse which I'm going to recite. Is from Ātmanāpañcama of Shankaracharya. Naham jato janma mrityu kuto me Naham prana kshat pipase kuto me Naham chittam shokamoho kuto me Naham karta bandha moksho kuto me. So this verse by Shankaracharya is an amazing verse with a beautiful deep meaning, which describes that how can there be any death or birth to me. I am beyond all these things. I am beyond all pain and pleasure. I am beyond bandha and moksha. Let me recite it using the same pattern what I used for the previous verse. Naham jato janma mrityu kuto me Naham prana kshat pipase kuto me Naham chittam shokamoho kuto me Naham karta bandha moksho kuto me Naham karta bandha moksho kuto me. This was Shankaracharya. So similarly, I have one verse from Skandapuranam. Toye saityam dahakatvam cha vahno tapo bhano shita bhano prasada pushpe gandho dugdha madhye cha sarpih yattat chambho tvam tatasvam prapatye. I read it once again. Toye shaityam dahakatvam cha vahno tapo bhano shita bhano prasada pushpe gandho dugdha madhye cha sarpih yattat chambho tvam tatasvam prapatye. What a profound meaning, what a beautiful meaning. That has the coldness in the water, the heat in the fire, and the fragrance in the flower, and the butter in the milk. In the same way, the divine, the Almighty is present in everything and every way. So let me recite it using a different pattern of singing. So then the same Vṛtta is illustrated using a different way of singing. To ye shaityam dahakatmam chavahno tapo bhano shita bhano prasada pushpe gandho dugdhamadhye cha sarpi yattat chambhotvam tatastvam prapadye yattat chambhotvam tatastvam prapadye. So this was from Skandapurana. Again, another verse from Skandapurana to illustrate the Śālinī Vṛtta, and I will be using the same pattern which I used for the previous verse. No te gotram napi janmapi nakhya nova rupam naiva shilam nadesha ittham bhutopi swarastvam trilokya sarvan kaman purayes tat bhaje tvam. No te gotram napi janmapi nakhya nova rupam naiva shilam nadesha ittham bhutopi swarastvam trilokya sarvan kaman purayestad bhaje tvam. You can observe from the reading or recitation of this verse in Śālinī, because there are many long syllables. So in every line, only 2 short syllables, 2 laghu akshara, and rest of the 9 syllables are long. And wherever there are long syllables, the movement of the Chandas of the Vṛtta becomes slow, yet there is a beautiful rhythm. Let me take just one more verse maybe to illustrate another way of doing the Śālinī Vṛtta, and this particular verse that I'm going to illustrate as the last example in the Triṣṭubh group, and the last example in Śālinī is from Kṛṣṇa-karṇāmṛtam of Leela Shuka. So it reads like this: Tat kaishūram tacca vaktraravindam tat karunyam te ca leela kataksha tat saundaryam sa ca sandrasmita-śrī satyam satyam durlabham daivatepi satyam satyam durlabham daivatepi. This episode where I illustrated the 2 Vṛttas, Indravajrā and Śālinī, belonging to the 11 syllable Triṣṭubh group. The first Vṛtta, Indravajrā, was highly melodious and giving expression to sentiments of intense heroism, intense devotion, anything which is intense. And the next Vṛtta, Śālinī, containing more long syllables, where the movement was little slow yet rhythmic, but many profound thoughts, the poetic beauty of the description of the different deities, the different aspects of the nature can be expressed through this particular Vṛtta Śālinī. So that is all for this episode, and I thank you all for being a part of this journey that Atharva Forum has launched. So I look forward to see you all in the next episode, where I will be illustrating more Vṛttas with many more examples and illustrating the different ways of reciting these beautiful verses by the acharyas, by the saint poets, by the greatest of the poets in Sanskrit literature. Dhanyavad.